live. I
no.
just wanted to mess with Andrew today. There's no.
You did?
I'm going to remove that today. Like we've had that for a while, and we need to change that. But I'll let Andrew take over now. I'm just gonna pretend there's something else happened. There's some technical difficulties.
Anyway, let's get into it. So today on State of Mind, we've got Linda Wells from eRaw, and Linda is helping people get healthy again and eat healthy again through her eRaw programs. Linda, can you give us a bit of a backstory into how eRaw came about?
Yeah, sure. My previous business wasn't called eRaw. It was pretty much the same business, except it wasn't online, and it was called It's Up to You. You are what you eat, and that used to be face-to-face work events and things like that. But then in 2020, I moved from Mid-North Coast, New South Wales, down to Tasmania in March 2020, and 5 minutes later, COVID happened and everything was locked down. And for years, I've been thinking in my mind, I'm going to put online courses, right? I'm going to learn how to make an online course. And then the other part of my mind is like, you're not smart enough to do that, Linda. Leave it alone. Do the face-to-face stuff. But in lockdown, I did. So I put some online courses, and they're still online. And but I still do webinars and things like that. And around our area, Australia and New Zealand, I do face-to-face workshops. So yeah, eRaw, Eat Right at Work, started basically because of lockdowns.
And how did you find yourself as a nutritionist, or what? So what made you get into helping people eat healthy and get healthy again?
Well, I'm not an academic. I'm not the smartest person in the world in terms of nutrition, but I just see, right? And actually, one of the best meetings that I did, a few of them with the United Nations in Geneva, their staff physician actually asked to do a testimonial on the way I send the information out to his team. Pretty much, and it's on my website actually, people don't listen to doctors and nutritionists, right? But they listen to Linda. So I'm just an ordinary person, but I do understand. I see, you walk around the city and everybody's walking, like 20 years younger than me. I'm an old lady, but I'm fit and healthy. Why? Because I do tick those boxes: 5 vegetables, 2 fruit, lots of water. I do have coffee, full disclosure, and I exercise, So I wanted to just teach people through fun and engagement, through laughing about things and not having any blame or shame. But and I've had issues too. I've had breast cancer 4 years ago. I was bald 4 years ago. So there's health issues for all of us, but we're not going to help ourselves if we eat, and you can call it junk food if you wanted, or fast food if you wanted, but if you walk through your supermarket, and I'm very grateful that we've got supermarkets because it's got everything now. I moved all my actual hair now. When we walk through supermarkets, just close your eyes for a minute. 100 years ago, 80% of those products did not even exist. 80% of the products in a supermarket did not exist 100 years ago. They're not real. And I just want to get people to take their rose-coloured glasses off. And even if they see a product that says sugar-free, low-fat, low sodium, etc., and I have a saying, and I won't say the actual word, and I don't say the actual word, but if it says sugar-free, low-salt, low-fat, it's a chemical storm. Okay?
And of course, a lot of the artificial can cause a lot of issues in the stomach lining. It can cause a lot of things breaking down. It also destroys a lot of the good gut bacteria that we don't really fully understand. Not a lot of people fully understand this, and because this gut bacteria that creates all these great things of breaking down the food and breaking down the nutrients and putting everything into our bodies, the energy that we really need. Is there something that is there something in food today that have been changed so much from your perspective, where it's changed so much that it's hard to sort of battle these, because it's become a habit in our lives, just going into the store and just picking up something simple, right? Even the chips, they look great and they taste great, yes,
They
but
do taste great, but they're not great.
but they're not great, right? They're not great. And we like, I understand this, and I started picking these things up. But what's really changed? Because you mentioned, we used to just go to the market.
Hi, Andrew.
Sorry, put that down.
we used to be able to just even pick them up, like even grow the food. There's a big change in flavors and in the nutrients inside the food. Like, how are we going to combat these things?
Well, are we going to? It doesn't look like we're going to, and we need to, and that's why ERAW is here, okay? Because, and lots of other organisations as well. And for example, we eat what we have access to. So if you're overwhelmed with work in your office and you go to your kitchen in an office environment, a crib room or a lunch room or whatever, and you make yourself a coffee or open up the fridge, there's sugary drinks in there, there's lollies, there's donuts, there's biscuits, etc. All of that stuff is going to harm you. But more importantly, and this is what I teach people, do you want to know the impacts on you? Some of those artificial ingredients, a lot of them are cause aggressive behaviour. So do you want to have a workplace where your employees have aggressive behaviour? And also they cause cancer, and some of them have, most of the artificial ingredients are all chemically modified, but some of them are petroleum derived, right? So petrol. Years ago, I did this face-to-face event, and there was a little child there who couldn't go to school because he wasn't very well. So, and his mum said, sorry, Linda, I've got my son here. And it was before COVID and everything. I'm like, oh, that's fine. Anyway, the groups had to break into groups and check ingredients and some products. And they had a little book with all the actual real information about the artificial ingredients. And this little boy said, excuse me, Linda, this book's got a mistake. I said, oh, what's the mistake? And he said, it says the number is petroleum, from petroleum. And I asked Mum, is petroleum similar to petrol? And she said it is petrol. So that's a mistake. And I stood there and I said, it's petroleum derived, it's from petrol. He said, no, but it's in a product that we eat. I said, yes, it is. Now, what I still remember that. Us adults are like, oh, okay. Whereas kids are like, hang on a minute, why on earth is this happening? So I think children are smarter than us. And also in terms of what we have access to, you go to your supermarket and get chips. Got a good story here. I was speaking about it with Vic Health online last week. I did this Monash University course, and I had to do this case study of one of the 4 Ps, promotion, place, price and product, etc. And I choose placement. So I asked my local IGA if we could change the checkout register 5 and 6 to fruit, just to do this case study. And they said, yeah, sure, except it's AFL Grand Final week this week, Linda, and we've just had delivered 500 cartons of chips. Now, this is a very small town. It's not a big city. This is a little out of the main area in Tasmania. It's a small town. 500 cartons of chips for the weekend, right? So now we did do the case study after the AFL Grand Final, and got good results, and they changed the aisle. But in a couple of weeks later, I walked in and the owners are like, Linda, I want to show you something. So I go into their office and they show me this sort of this picture on their computer of this construction thing. I thought, oh, that looks nice. They said, no, that's we're changing the construction for register 5 and 6 permanently. So now I was just there this morning. There's bananas, there's grapes, there's apples, mandarins, etc. at checkout, register 5 and 6. Plus, when the IGA supermarket's not busy, not all the registers are open. The basket register's open, and checkout register 5 and 6 is open. When it is really busy, most locals go to that one rather than aisle 2 or 3, etc. So you walk through the supermarket, you get all this healthy food, you go to your checkout register and you see chips or chocolate and you grab it. But if you go to register 5 and 6, you see a banana or a mandarin and you grab that instead.
Wow.
And what's is the outcome of that? Are they going to keep that in place? They're keeping that in place?
They have, yep, for nearly a year.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
I mean, because they look so, like, it looks so good. Like, you just want to go and grab a bag of it. It's so delicious and tasty.
Yeah,
Finished them too.
that's
There's nothing in them, so we know what he had for lunch.
Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
But I know, actually, Andrew, that is a really good mention, a sponsor, right? Because so my business, it's a new business, it's a startup business, and you invest so much money into your own business, and you over years you start to earn income. If I was sponsored by a junk food outlet, like if there was a one of those football players, Ronaldo, who after the event, I can't remember what country it was in, and there was Coca-Cola on the presentation thing, and he moved the Coca-Cola away, and he goes, aqua, right, drink water, right? The market capital of Coca-Cola for one day dropped $5 billion because of that move, right? It's all right, it's gone back up again. But I often teach people, what the market capital is of these fast food, and they're not even called fast food. They're the 80% of the products in a supermarket, what the market capital of that company is, and it's billions of dollars.
Ooh.
So you're supporting their market capital, right? They're not supporting you. You're supporting their market capital. So think about that.
Guess what? Most of the foods that are actually being sold to us are owned by 11 major companies in the world, and 80% of the food that we actually eat is actually from these 7 major companies. Like Nestle would own like all these damn things, right? You've got like
General Mills.
You've got all these foods, and like I can talk about them, but I don't want to go through who they are. But if anyone really goes out to dig deeper, they'll find out that it's from these major food corporations, and they're designed to do one thing. To me, in my own research, they're designed to have created enough interest for people to want to eat them because they're addictive. Because we know sugar's addictive, right? Yeah. Sugar's addictive. As soon as you start eating sugar, and if you haven't reduced on sugar, guess what happens? A lot of the diseases come. A lot of the things come as well, because it's the energy that gets stuck inside that we don't use or utilize, and it becomes like these fat cells as well. And the fat cells then there's so many implications on the things that happen inside of our bodies that we don't even know these things. But a lot of people have been talking about it. No one really listens to these people, but it does happen, right? Like if we want to talk about diabetes, diabetes is caused. Well, we know what it's causing diabetes, but it's just over. But people don't understand that it's insulin. Like it's insulin that keeps it stays at a specific level where we feel addicted, and if it gets sort of drops down, that the insulin level doesn't really have time to sort of recover, which is really annoying. It annoys the crap out of me because a lot of people don't really understand this, and if I talk about it, they don't even want to research it. They just dismiss me, right? Then there's points of things like cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. The cortisol is one of these biggest things that we need to understand. We have an overload of cortisol inside of our bodies that happens because of all the stresses that happen that come into play, right? A phone is a stressor. It stresses us because of notifications and all these things. But then there's foods that causes these stresses that allows us, like fats and what I can talk about this, right? With you, and you'll understand. But there's so many people out there. How could we ever build the right awareness that people will start understanding that it's causing a lot of the diseases, and it's causing a lot of their thinking and thought patterns at the same time, that it's destroying humanity? How could we do that?
And
what do we need to do?
That's what my business is there to show people, all of those products, even the one that's just on the floor at Andrew's desk, it's sugar, salt, and fat. And it's
on the top shelf now.
People will always say to me, Linda, it's chips. There's no sugar in it. Yes, there is, right? And the sugar, salt, and fat, and the fat is oil, and it's usually palm oil. Okay, so then that's also wrecking the environment. And the sugar is artificial ingredients. In fact, there is a thing on the back of I'll get it down actually. Sorry to do this. More than 100 alternative names for sugar.
Oh, I love that.
So
I saw one major one there. Corn syrup. Corn syrup is one of the biggest sugar additives that.
Rice, maltodextrin. It's just, there's so much stuff. But all of those artificial products have got sugar, salt, and fat in them because it creates a phenomenon of craving, which blah, 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 brings their NASDAQ price up, okay, brings their market capital up. But we're spending money on those products and on our healthcare. I don't spend any money on my healthcare, right? I don't have any health issues. So I don't take medication. 9 million Australians take at least one pill a day from their doctors. 9 million, right? And as you said, Sandra, like diabetes, type 2 diabetes is fixable and changeable completely. Type 1 diabetes needs to be, go through the rest of your life. But type 2 diabetes is a thing that your choices and behavior has caused. Hey, come talk to me and I'll show you how to change your behavior, and you don't need it anymore. You don't need to take medication and pills and all of that, because type 2 diabetes is because of the food and drinks you consume.
What's the feedback been like with getting into workplaces and educating them and teaching them how to eat healthier? Has the feedback come back that people are generally happier in the workplace and productivity's gone through the roof? Or are you able to share some feedback that you've had from sharing these?
Yes, yeah. So recent feedback from New South Wales, actually, a organisation, they've changed what's accessible, what type of food is accessible to their staff, and staff were against it. I understand that. No, I still want to have chips. I want to have chocolate, etc. Instead, it's fruit bowls and raw nuts and things like that. But you're busy at work, so you go to get the stuff, and the only thing you've got to get is healthy. So you eat it, right? And over time, the sugar, salt, and fat thing creates that phenomenon of craving. I need more. But over time, once you're off it, you don't have that phenomenon of craving anymore, and you can walk past items, and it doesn't make you go, oh, I need that. So yeah, feedback from organisations in New South Wales, feedback from that mother of that 8-year-old who found out that petroleum was in the chewing gum product, which was recommended by the dentist industry. Please take this chewing gum because it helps your teeth, except it's got petroleum-derived artificial ingredients in it that are, wait for this, prohibited in food for infants. So there's so many ingredients that are prohibited in food for infants. And one day I'm going to start a project. I need funding for it, called the PIFFI project, PIFFI, prohibited in food for infants. And what I want is to put like a skull and crossbones sticker on the products that have got ingredients in them that are prohibited in food for infants, rather than a 1 health star rating or a half health star rating. Get rid of it, right? And put a sticker on it with a skull and crossbones, so that when a mum or dad goes and picks up a product and there's a 3-year-old there, and the rest of us, you don't need to be an infant to get harm from it. They go, oh, hang on, and put it back and go get an apple or a mandarin instead. So, feedback from the mother of that little boy was, I bumped into them at a supermarket and I didn't even recognise her. It was like a year or 2 years later. And she said, oh, Linda, I've got to tell you something. We have not had artificial products anymore since we learned that there was petroleum-derived ingredient in that chewing gum. So, that stuff makes me cry. That it wasn't even a workplace. That was just a community thing. So, and but workplaces, a lot of feedback. A recent event, I did a face-to-face workshop with. Everybody's sitting there, all the staff are sitting there drinking Coca-Cola, and they're telling me, and that's what they've got access to at work, and then they're telling me it's all right because it's Coke, no sugar, Linda. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the learning, they realise that it's got 2 artificial ingredients in them. One of them is in more than 5,000 products, all harmful. The other one is 200 times more sweet than sugar. So you're drinking something that says no sugar? Yeah, you're not. You're having artificial. So, so people have changed and tried to get to water, which is, I have water and coffee, right? So, yeah. Oh, Andrew, look at Andrew. Yeah.
Sorry, Sandra, what have you got? Can you just hold up what you've got?
I've
2:53 in the afternoon.
Because we were going to talk about this, we were saving it.
Oh, hang on, wait. I was gonna do this. Yeah. This is what I have.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah,
coffee. We were going to talk about the coffee, and because we all love our coffee. Well, not everyone. No,
but there's some angels out there that have got to green tea. I haven't got there yet. I will one day, hopefully. Now, coffee, I don't mind coffee, except don't drink it after 10 a.m. Now, I have a Aura ring, which is being charged.
So we're going to have to cut this live off. I'm sorry, Linda. That's not acceptable.
Yeah, so
we've been told
coffee,
to cut this off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, the next word's going to be worse. Coffee, alcohol, sugary drinks, etc. They all impact your sleep. So don't have coffee after. I think it says don't have coffee after. The research says after midday or something, but I don't have it after 10 a.m. And if you get an Aura ring, which tracks your data, a little bit like an Apple Watch, but heaps better, more information rather. And I do case studies, and this is a joke, and I tell people this and I show them the data. Here's a case study. This is what my sleep looks like. Lots of REM sleep, lots of deep sleep. Had my dinner at 6 o'clock at night, no dessert, no alcohol, no sugary drinks or anything. Brilliant sleep, 8.5 hours of sleep. But here's a case study just for you. I had ice cream at 8 o'clock at night. Here's my sleep, awake. Not very much REM sleep, not very much deep sleep. So it impacts us.
What was that? What was that called? What was it called that you were tracking with?
The Aura ring.
Oh, the Aura ring.
OURA, Aura ring. It's a lot of data, but it shows you. It has a little graph, and the white dots is you're awake, and light blue, dark blue, and very dark blue is the other types of sleep. So if I had it on my screen, I could share it, but I haven't got it up yet. I go to bed, I get into deep sleep immediately, get up, I'm an old lady, get up in the middle of the night, go to the, and then come back, sleep, and then REM sleep in the morning. But you have some sugary product or alcohol or something like that, and devices and on your streaming services till all hours, you're awake. And then people say to me, yeah, I just can't sleep. There is a connection between the food and drinks we consume and the sleep we get.
In light.
And light.
Because I started playing around with lights and changing the different colors. And as soon as I started changing the colors and removing a lot of the blue light has helped with the sleep.
Well, I do a lot of events in different countries, so sometimes there are different time zones. So I have a blue light glasses on, which really helps. So the event might finish at 8 o'clock Australian time at night, but I've had my blue light glasses on. These aren't them. I have these blue, and they're this big red blue light thing. And people go, oh my God, Linda, I love your glasses. And I think, yeah, I don't care what they look like. It's helping, making me not be affected by the screen time at night.
I just wanted to go back to all these different additives because I've got an app that tells me all the different additives.
Yeah.
And I looked up the number to look out for this petroleum is 905. So if anyone really wants to look at the food that they're currently eating, and if it's got 905 in it, well, you know what that is. But it's called Additive Alert on mine on Android that I use, and then it's when I look at a lot of the food that I buy, I look at all the different things that's in it. You know,
Well,
I might be in the aisle going, I'm the only one looking at every single little bit and thinking, oh, geez, what's this additive? And thinking, there's hardly anything. There's a lot of acid that's been added. Citric acid is okay, and I know so there's that number as well. But there's different types of acids that they add into the food that isn't very healthy because it does a lot of things in our stomach and it changes the chemical and makes a chemical imbalance. So
well, I use the Chemical Maze app, and that gives me all the data. And when I do the speaker gigs, I go through about 4 particular products, and when it's the live ones, I hand out documents for people to read the information out loud to the rest of their team on what's in it, and what harm it causes, and what the market capital, NASDAQ market cap is for that particular company as well. And we laugh and carry on. But then those people that have stood up and read that document, and in most places people say, can I keep this document, Linda? I go, yeah, sure. Right?
I like it.
So
I'm
Chemical
looking at
Maze
the
app.
app now.
Yeah. And what I also do is there's a couple of, and I'm very grateful for supermarkets, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful, and I'm very grateful for supermarkets in Australia because we do have fresh produce in there. But there is a particular supermarket app that I look at. Rather than going to the supermarket and buying a junk food product, I go to the particular app because it has ingredients listed, and then you can read it on your thing, get on your app and go, all right, what's that number? You know, blah, 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 and work it out rather than having to buy the product and improve the NASDAQ market cap for that particular company.
Well, it's nice you go through that detail because I know for a lot, sometimes I've got to duck to the shops and grab a bunch of things and it's just bang, bang, grab it off the shelf. I know it looks good, tastes good, just going to grab it, but there's so much more we can do to eat healthier.
Absolutely. And I do it all via fun. And the last thing I want to show you is at the live events, I get people to stand behind this banner and, right, I am the head chef of my own body.
Aw.
Right? But wait.
There's more.
They have to take a photo of it on their camera and then put it on their home screen. And then they see I'm the head chef of my own body. So I'm in charge of my own body. I'm in charge of my own health, right? And every time they tap and go at a pub or junk food outlet or even the supermarket, they tap and go and they go, oh man, I'm the head chef of my own body. I'm in charge. I shouldn't buy this. So it's all by fun and engagement and remembering rather than just a boring,
But it's honey soy. It tastes so good. I won't say no. Get away. Chuck it away. Anyway, Linda, thanks for jumping on today.
Yeah.
Sandro, do you have any closing words?
No, I've spoken
Questions? No?
enough, I think. Otherwise, this will go for another 20 minutes.
Linda, if anyone wants to reach out and talk more about ERAW, how can they find you?
They can go to the website, which is www.e-raw.com.au, and all the contact details are there.
I think we should be able to chuck it in the comments if anyone wants to go check it out. But thanks for your time today, Linda, and yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank
Everyone
you,
needs
and
to eat
thanks.
healthier.
Yes, that's right.
Get
And
healthy.
thanks for
Let's do it.
inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
I've ended it.
No, you haven't.
It won't end.